Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For a consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.
Hello, my name is Mary Campbell, legal assistant at the law firm of Figueroa and Associates and your presenter with this week's immigration news. Biden proposes citizenship path for undocumented immigrants. President Biden called for a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants already in the U.S., including those who arrived during his administration. He emphasized the need for documentation and immigration reform, particularly for young DREAmers. For example, we still need a path of documentation for those who are already here. And we're not walking away from true immigration reform, including permanent protections and a pathway to citizenship for young DREAmers who came here when they were children and who have been good citizens and contribute so much to our country, he continued. Biden made these remarks amid record-high numbers of illegal border encounters. His statements come as public opinion increasingly disapproves of his handling of the border, with a majority blaming him for the crisis. Senate kicks aid bill to House incinerator. The war inside former President Donald Trump's Republican Party is playing out in real time on Capitol Hill, and it continued on the Senate floor while you were sleeping. The Senate is on the brink of passing a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. The effort has bitterly divided Republicans for months as they fought over conservatives' demands to link any aid package to border security before eventually killing a bipartisan border bill intended to unlock support for both. Despite those obstacles, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell will ultimately help push a national security supplemental through the chamber. Thanks to overwhelming Democratic support, Trump is opposed to this bill, and Speaker Mike Johnson released a statement Monday night saying, in effect, he'll kill the legislation in its current form because it's silent on border security. Meanwhile, in New York, in case you missed it, New Yorkers are stepping up to support migrants where elected officials are failing. A recent article in the New York Times highlights how New Yorkers are helping migrant families find housing and ensuring their children have access to basic needs. New Yorkers understand the mutual benefits behind helping migrants, and that if the state wants new arrivals to be successful New Yorkers, we need to make them a part of our communities and to not ignore the community bonds that they've built over the last few months. The article underscores the many unseen and unheralded gestures that average New Yorkers are making every day to help ease the migrant crisis that has roiled the city budget and its politics over the past year. As the New York Times reports, New Yorkers are reaching into their wallets, opening up their homes, buying groceries, digging through overstuffed closets, giving rides, donating their time, even providing medicine. At a time when real solutions and expanding work authorizations would significantly benefit new arrivals instead face looming evictions and the mayor's cruel changes to NYC's right to shelter laws. According to Murad Awade, Executive Director, New York Immigration Coalition, for generations, New York has welcomed immigrants, and we will continue to do so now. New Yorkers are working to ensure that migrants and asylum seekers have the support they need even as the mayor implements cruel policies that hurt migrants and our communities. I'm grateful for the many New Yorkers who are welcoming migrants, and we need our elected officials to follow their lead and do the same. New York City adds 20 more shelters to migrant curfew. The city says beginning Tuesday, February 20, migrants at the additional shelters will have a curfew from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. The announcement came after police said a group of men assaulted 2 officers outside a migrant shelter in Times Square. And just days later, police say a 15-year-old migrant shot a woman inside JD Sports in Times Square and then allegedly fired at officers who were chasing him. Unfortunately, the incident that happened in Times Square, it's not the norm, said Hildalyn Colon Hernandez, Deputy Director of New Immigrant Community Empowerment, or NICE. Colon Hernandez agrees with the expanded curfew for the safety of migrants. The city said in a statement it is prioritizing the health and safety of asylum seekers and surrounding New Yorkers, and that it will allow for more efficient capacity management for migrants in the city's care. In other news, data snapshot: the number of Black immigrants in the U.S. continues to rise. Black immigrants not only contribute to America's rich political and cultural history, think rapper Wyclef Jean, U.S. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, or basketball's Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, to name but a very few. They also play an important and growing role in our economy, making outsized contributions in industries facing critical worker shortages, such as healthcare and transportation. In one decade, the Black immigrant population increased by a notable 23.5%, from 3.5 million in 2012 to 4.3 million in 2022. While Black immigrants comprise just 1.3% of the total U.S. population, they concentrate in several large states with sizable immigrant populations. Black immigrants are defined as any person who was born outside the United States to non-U.S. citizen parents and who identifies as Black or African American in the American Community Survey. USCIS finalizes increase in fees for immigration-related applications. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, finalized its long-awaited fee rule on January 30, which impacts the filing costs for almost all the agency's applications. The new fees will take effect April 1, 2024. The agency's fee increases significantly impact the cost for family-based and employment-based applications and petitions. In addition, USCIS is charging a new asylum program fee to be paid by certain employers. This fee will fund asylum operations, including those related to the Biden administration's asylum processing rule, which allows USCIS officers, instead of immigration judges, to conduct asylum merits interviews for certain recent entrants. The agency also expanded several fee exemptions for humanitarian-based petitions, while broadening the eligibility criteria for the reduced fee for naturalization applications. By statute, USCIS is required to review its fee structure every 2 years. Unlike many other federal agencies, USCIS operations rely primarily, nearly 96%, on user fees. Completing an unprecedented 10 million immigration cases in fiscal year 2023, USCIS reduced its backlog for the first time in over a decade. On February 9, USCIS released its end of fiscal year FY 2023 data that illustrate the agency's progress in meeting its strategic priorities. The USCIS workforce has worked tirelessly over the past year to uphold America's promise as a nation of welcome and possibility by reducing backlogs, improving customer experience, addressing humanitarian needs, and strengthening employment-based immigration. I'm so proud of the USCIS workforce and our dedication to fairness, integrity, and respect for all we serve, said USCIS Director Ruer M. Jadu. We've completed a record number of cases, responded to emerging crises around the globe with essential humanitarian relief, and applied innovative solutions to improve customer experience and reduce backlogs. And finally, House GOP eyes a redo on Mayorkas impeachment. House Republicans are eyeing a redo on impeaching Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas this week after the conference fell short of penalizing the embattled cabinet head in a stunning and embarrassing fashion. The House is slated to hold another vote on impeaching Mayorkas on Tuesday, which Republicans expect to be successful, as Majority Leader Steve Scalise, RLI, returns to the Capitol following cancer treatment. If all members are present and vote the same way as last week, and Scalise is supportive of impeachment, the effort will just squeak by. Thank you.
Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For a consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845 That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.